voice in the wind. So long to my old friends. But in the bitterness, you can't just keep it moving. Now you ain't welcome here. Now till I walk the streets of gold, I'll sing of how you saved my soul. This wayward son has found his way back. Oh, he picked me up, he turned me around, he placed my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because he healed my heart, he changed my name, forever free. I'm not the same. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, I thank God, I thank God, I thank God.
Come on, everyone. Can we just give our worship team a hand? I mean, that was an awesome song. It was awesome worship, awesome video. But you know why else it was awesome? It was awesome because we got to see multiple called locations come together to make that happen. I mean, we had a leader from online. We had leaders from Onomalu. We had a leader from Steadfast, and we had a student from Steadfast. And I kind of wanted to bring that to your attention because I want to let you know that you can get involved. You can be a part of the worship team and be on our next video, or you could be on the camera team to film that, or maybe on our social media team, or maybe you want to be interviewed like how Hannah Marie was. Whatever you want to do, you can get involved because this is your ministry too. Turn to someone and say, it's yours. Yes, it is your ministry. And so I want to encourage you, if you want to get involved, talk to a leader, say, hey, how do I do that? How can I be in a video? How can I help with a video? How can I just be involved and help make Jesus famous through this ministry? Because this ministry is your ministry. Now, I wanted to say that, and I also wanted to say that that was a little Thanksgiving gift from us to you. I know it's kind of a day late, but happy Thanksgiving. And we are in a series called The Attitude of Gratitude. And this is the final week. And so if you're here for the first time, let me introduce myself. My name is Landon. I'm so glad that you're here. And I believe that God has something for you today. In fact, I believe that this message today is going to speak to a lot of people tonight. And I also believe that God's not just speaking tonight. God spoke last week. He's going to speak next week. He's going to speak every single day of our lives. And so if you're here, and if you're here for the first time, I just want to thank the person who invited you. And I want to encourage everyone, keep inviting friends. Every single week is an opportunity to bring a friend and an opportunity for God to speak to them. And I believe that God's going to orchestrate it, that whatever they're going through, God is going to speak directly to that. So with that said, we're going to dive into the final week of Attitude of Gratitude. And this week is really going to be about Thanksgiving. And we're going to read about Paul's Thanksgiving in the Bible. Now, we're not going to read him eating turkey with his friends. We're going to read about him giving thanks. He's thanksgiving and he's praying. And so we're going to pick it up in Philippians chapter 1, verse 3. It says this: every time I think of you, I give thanks to my God. Whenever I pray, I make my requests for all of you with joy. For you have been my partners in spreading the good news about Christ from the time you first heard it until now. And I am certain that God, who began the good work, someone say good work, who began the good work within you will continue. Come on, say that word. Say continue. Will continue his work until it has finally finished on the day when Christ Jesus returns. God has began a good work within you, and he's going to continue it. That's going to be our main kind of focus tonight. That God has began a good work within you, and he's going to continue it. See, I believe this because in a couple chapters later, this is what Paul says. In chapter 2, verse 13, it says this, it says, for God is working in you, giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases him. So we have these concepts that God is working in you. And what he's doing in you is a good work. And he's going to continue to do it. Now, how does this relate to an attitude of gratitude? Well, sometimes we forget that God is working within us and he's continuing to work. And I want to show this in the simplest, clearest, most visual way that I could think of. See, this container right here, this is going to represent you and your life. And we just read that God is working where? In you. He's working in you. And he has a good work for you. So God is continuing to do a good work. Where? In you. And so this is going to represent you. And so God is doing a good work within you. And so this work that's happening within you is continuing. It's going day after day. And when things are good, we can be thankful. But sometimes things aren't so good. And when things get rough, we're going to represent it, those things by these little Orbeez. It's just little clear bubbles. And so God is continuing to do a good work. And we're thankful. Someone say thankful. We're thankful for his good work within us. But then maybe our parents start fighting, and it adds a little bit of forgetfulness in our life. We forget that God is working. And it's kind of adding. All these events are adding to our forgetfulness. It's adding to maybe our questions or our doubt. And we have more things that happen, and it's adding even more. And things are going, it's happening, and then all of a sudden we start to really experience life. And it's not just a couple beads down there, a couple events. Life happens and it just starts to kind of pour down. And all of the things that's happening in our life, we start to focus on those things instead of trying to focus on the good work. Come on, someone say good work. Instead of trying to focus on the good work that God is doing in us. And all of these things are happening. And as you can see, when we forget what God is doing in us, we start to lose focus on the promise that Paul started to pray about. We start to lose focus on the things that Paul said he's thankful for. And then more events happen. More events come. And we start to forget. We focus on those events. We start to forget that God is working in us. Until it's completely covered up. And the thing that God is doing every single day in our life, he's working within me, he's working within you, that what used to bring us joy is now clouded in questions, in doubts, in forgetfulness, in ungratefulness. That we stop thanking God. We stop thanking God. We stop thanking God for who he is. We stop thanking God for his son. We stop thanking God for all these situations. Before, when it was just a couple down here, we could still thank him. But now we don't even remember who he is. Here's my main point for tonight, is that thankfulness, gratitude is refreshing. Gratitude is refreshing. I want to remind you that God has started a good work in you. He didn't just start it. Paul says he's going to finish it. He has this good work in you. You've been through some things. Maybe your vision has been clouded. See, gratitude is refreshing because gratitude changes our perspective. Gratitude is refreshing because gratitude changes our perspective. But here's the thing. Gratitude is going to be represented just by this water, this pitcher of water. I mean, because when I'm running and when I'm dying outside and it's hot and I'm getting a headache because I didn't have enough water and I just want something to quench my thirst, to kind of revive me. I don't want a soda in that moment. I want just a glass of water. Whether it's hot or cold, out of the water hose, I don't care. I just want something that's going to quench my thirst, and nothing does it better than water. And this is the same thing with gratitude. That when you're stuck, unable to see the promise that God has placed in you, simple acts of being grateful can refresh your mind to remember and see those promises. But it's going to take time. That when we start to be grateful, we start to thank God. God, thank you for who you are. God, thank you for sending your son. God, I don't know what life is bringing. I don't understand all of these things right now. But God, I know that you're doing a good work within me. And all those things that clouded our vision, through gratitude, it becomes clear. That gratitude is so refreshing that it changes our perspective, that we are able to see through. It doesn't mean that these balls magically disappeared. All of these things are actually still in here. All of those situations, those questions, those hurts, maybe even some of that spirit of ungratefulness is still going to be present. But God is giving you a new perspective to change each one at a time, so that now you don't just go through it, you see through it. You're able to see through all those things into the truth that God has placed in you long ago, that God is working in you and he's continuing to work. Man, if that's not something that we can be thankful for, that we can be grateful for, I don't know what is. This simple truth right here gives me hope. That every single day, when I have good days, I have bad days. When I have those bad days, I can remember God is still working in me. That this is just another bead. But if I'm grateful, I'm able to see through it. That gratitude is refreshing and it changes our perspective. Come on, if that spoke to someone tonight, someone just yell, "That's good." And as you close your eyes and bow your heads right now, I'm going to ask one of your called leaders to come up and close you in prayer.